ye scurvy dogs, arr, it's Talk Like a Pirate Day, or September 19th, 2008. Arr, I'm gonna talk about tenure today. So, hi there, this is Scott Stuff. Every day, not every day, but most days, when I don't have a cold, I'm getting over one right now, which is why I can talk like a pirate fairly well, because my voice is much lower. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about tenure and let you know what tenure was, because I get that question. What is this tenure thing anyway? So I'm a tenured professor at Syracuse University. Now, tenure, what that is in the academic professor setting is protection. It basically means when you have tenure, you are given a non-expiring contract. And so you sign a contract, and that contract means that as long as your department is there, you will have a job. Now, there are a few ways you could lose tenure. You could lose tenure if your department goes away, then you will lose tenure at the university. Although many times they'll try to find another place for you if they like you. Also, if you are found guilty of moral turpitude, you can lose tenure, which means, you know, if you do something hideous and get arrested for it and the university is embarrassed by you, that's another way for them to get out of it. But basically, you can get away with a lot once you have tenure. Now, to get tenure, what it took me, and this is institution dependent, but it took me 6 years, and so I had to be at the university for 6 years. That was in two three-year contracts. So I had a 3-year contract, then I went through a large evaluation, and then another three-year contract, and then a really large evaluation, and then tenure was awarded. So why do they have tenure anyway? Well, tenure is a mode of protection. The idea is that it frees up a faculty member to talk about the issues that need to be talked about without worrying about repercussions for their job. So if they ended up saying something that was bad for the profession, bad for the university, they didn't have to worry about being fired because they were reporting research. They were doing explorations. They were saying the truth as they have found it. Big debates there on what is truth. But without having to worry about being fired. So for me, for example, what that did is I was able to pursue research on games and libraries. The concept of games is seen by many as frivolous. You might look at that and say, well, he's just goofing off looking at games. You know, why does he have Rock Band? He's just playing around. But those of you that know my work know that I'm taking it very seriously. I'm doing surveys, I'm collecting data, I'm building models. I'm really taking gaming seriously and trying to understand what's going on in order to provide value to all the librarians out there. Having tenure gave me the comfort that I could tackle this problem and not have to worry about a supervisor saying, you know, why don't you do research on something more serious or else, and I can just work on this project. Now, the other thing that it's doing, to be honest, and I've heard this from other junior faculty members, so junior faculty members are people without tenure, and junior faculty members now can look to this research base I'm building and present that to their senior faculty members and say, hey, there are ways to do serious research about games, and I'd like to get engaged with that. So I'm providing a base of evidence, a base of scholarship for other people to join in on, and I'd be happy to have more people join in, to be honest. So how did I get to tenure? Well, what it required at my institution is national recognition. And so what goes on is you write a lot, you talk a lot, you give talks, you write papers, you meet faculty members, and the goal is to develop your name around what you're working on. And what happened during the tenure process is I put together a package of materials that had 3 of my articles and sort of my history, my teaching, my research history, my advising history, all of that stuff went together in a packet. And that packet got mailed out to a number of people. Now, the way those people were selected is I passed a list of names of full professors at institutions equivalent to Syracuse up to the tenure committee. They picked people from whomever they wanted to out there, and whoever they think should have heard of me. And then they sent these packets to those individuals, and they asked those individuals to write a letter. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that the people who are out there, who are in your area, have heard of you and are willing to talk about you and can evaluate your work. So you have to be out there, you go to conferences, you network, you write things, you're heavily engaged. And so all of this comes together then into this large tenure decision-making process where the faculty gets together, they have a vote, the dean has a suggestion, but it all goes to the vice president of the university or the provost, the person in charge of academic affairs. And they're going to make the decision on whether they want you to have tenure or not, because they are the ones committing the university's resources to have you there for a very long time. So it's basically, it's a 6-year job interview, and some high-class institutions. There are some institutions out there that are very difficult to get tenure in, and some people go there simply to build up for several years, to get their name known, to say, oh, I went to so-and-so, knowing that they will most likely not get tenure. They tenure very few people there, and then they go to another institution where it's easy for them to come in with tenure. So these institutions will really push on junior faculty to do a lot of work, knowing that very few of them will make that cut. So it is a political process, it's a personal process, it's an academic process, all rolled into one. It is very stressful, and so any of you junior faculty out there going through the tenure granting process, good luck. It takes a lot of work, and if you get it, then on the other side, what I found is you end up getting a lot of service to the university. They say, all right, you got your tenure, now you're going to help us out. And that's when I became the director of the LIS program, which is kind of like a department chair. And so now that occupies a lot of my time, but part of what I'm doing is I'm taking on a heavier service load to help protect our junior faculty, to help them to succeed. And so I'm okay with that because they protected me when I was trying to get tenure. So that's what tenure is all about. It's a lot of work. Once you get it, you then put in more work, but you don't have that pressure of having to worry about keeping your job. You know it'll be there every year. You just know that you're also going to have a lot of other responsibilities that come with it. So that's enough of the academic blah, blah, blah. That's what tenure is all about. And now I've got to go and do a presentation about gaming at Syracuse University. It's today at 10:30 if you want to come see it. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.